Mm-mm-mm. Damn. Hello. Hello, hello. I see one person in the room so far. Let's wait a couple minutes until I start. Hey. Hello. I don't know why I can't see it. Okay. Hi guys. Be sure to like the video. Hey, Harbiner's love. I know I seen your comment. Hey Taku. Thanks guys. You guys are so cute. Like some of you guys are messaging me like, are we getting a mid-month recap? Yes, we are again. I'm gonna do a mid-month recap. It was my parents' anniversary this weekend. So I was just keeping it cute this weekend because it was their anniversary. Hi, Beauty and Skin. Well, I know who it is. Shout out, hi. But yeah, I was keeping it cute this weekend and then had a couple things to do. So I was just like, okay, let me go do that. And then I'm like, let me just get on because it was like whenever I wanted to get on, I didn't have enough time. Like it, like on average, an average live like lasted about an hour and a half. So I was like, okay, if I come on now, I'm like, I'm not gonna be on much long. So it's just like, okay, let me try another day, then another day, another day, and then after here we are Wednesday. So everybody, how you guys been? What's been going on? How's your weekend been? How's your August been treating you thus far? As you have questions, I do too. I do. I've read on them before, which I'm probably gonna link it in the description box. I read on them back in like, when did I read on them? It was like back in like it was earlier this year. Hi, Marky. This was a great summer despite Trump being in office. Yeah, I love it. I love hearing that. Just stay like staying out of trouble, minding your business, and staying the fuck out of the way. That's literally like the energy that I'm in as well. Like just peace, enjoying peace. Hey Nas, how are you? If you guys haven't already, be sure to like the video. Let me put on the shirt because shirt's kind of big on me now. Okay, so I was waiting for the room to warm up a bit. Yes, yes. Well, you already know all of it's gonna be for clout at the end of the day, right? So it is what it is. Learning to thank you, Marquis. Like I think I was talking to my hair girl about this the other day, and it was like something happened for me, especially like it's like when you're going through the journey of peace, it's like you start chasing what that looks like until one day you just wake up and you're just at peace. Hey, Exalted Five Healing. So you wake up and you're just at peace. And then you realize, like, that's like the biggest flex ever is when you're just living your life. You know what I mean? Like, I think once I turned 40, it's like I got to a space where I just didn't make certain shit bothering me anymore. And if it didn't align with my peace or my nervous system or just who I am as a person. Like I was like, no, moving on to the next thing. And it's like it wasn't with anger or anything. It's usually love and light. Yes, I'm 40. I'm about to be 41, honey. I'm 3 months away from my 41st birthday. I think that honestly, it's like I wish what I knew now, I knew 15 years ago. But anyways, time takes wisdom, right? Wisdom takes time. But like honestly, like that's just what I remember my life. And I'm like, if there's the biggest flex in the world that you can have is peace. Peace of mind. You know what I mean? And peace of mind being is like you're at peace with yourself, You're at peace with others. You're at peace with your finances. Like just at peace. Yes, I'm 40. I share. I share. Like that's the goal. That's the flex. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. I think I remember you turning 30, 31, and when you used to do lives back in the day. Time flies. Yes. Yeah, because when I was on live or when I got really consistent on live, yeah, I was about that age. I was like 30, 31, because that's when I around the age I was when I had Ocean. Like I was 31 turning 32. You know what I mean? But hey, time takes wisdom, child. With wisdom, I mean, with time, you get wisdom. And that's what I go for. All right, so let's get into it because I just want to warm up the room a little bit. So we're going to open up. Who are we reading on today? We are going to tap into the Tupac murder trial. This was actually a request that came from a viewer, and they said, and also somebody I know is like Tupac's like her husband. So she asked that I read on the murder trial. Little Durk's case trial is coming up soon. I think it's like tomorrow or whatever. So we said, I thought, hey, let me tap into that. Also, what we're gonna do is when it comes to spiritual messages, we are gonna tap into the essence of the seven African spirits, saints, deities, whatever you want to call it. But the topic coming through the message from them is altars. Okay. I feel like a lot of people, everyone knows that I'm like an altar connoisseur. I'm very big on altars and how they function and the engine of it all. And I find that there's a lot of people that do watch me have a hard understanding of how they actually function. And we wanted to be able to tap into that. So it's something that you have here, pin it, you know what I mean? And actually like learn something. You know what I mean? And then we're gonna close out the live with Blue and Neveah. So we're gonna always we're gonna open up the energies with opening prayer, and then we're gonna get into the reading. Lord Jesus, we pray, God, and we thank you so much for your victories, your guidance, and the strength that you provide us in Jesus Christ's name. I pray, God, in the name of Jesus, that you put a divine protection over this room. And I say divine protection, not over this, only over this room, but over this space and place and this channel in the name of Jesus. And I pray, God, that every single person watching this video, especially those that are watching the playback in the name of Jesus, that they have blessings, prosperity, and most of all, peace of mind in Jesus' glorious name. I pray, God, in the name of Jesus, that I'm praying for the spirit of clarity, God, if that's coming out my spirit, the spirit of clarity and understanding, and also just a change in the abundance and prosperity that's around them in Jesus' glorious name. I pray in the name of Jesus that I feel, God, in that our spirits in some way and our energy has reset itself from the times of COVID, but I feel like our minds are still in a place of delay in the name of Jesus. And I pray, God, in Jesus' glorious name, that you just help everyone have their divine reset, the divine alignment, their divine their divine be able to walk on straight and never be on a divine road, God, in Jesus' glorious name. I pray, God, in the name of Jesus, use me as a vessel to be able to deliver the messages that need to be delivered, God, in Jesus' glorious name. And I pray, God, that you just open the roads for goodness in everyone's life that's here right now in the name of Jesus. And may the space always be a space of light, prosperity, upliftment, and education. Amen. All right. All right, Tupac murder trial. Okay, so as you know, Tupac, I don't remember the exact date, is we're coming on the 30th anniversary of Tupac's death. I know that he died around September of 1996. He actually passed away in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was shot up. He was shot, and there's been a lot of speculation, stories. September 13th. Thank you. So there's always been a lot of speculation, stories, conspiracies, all these things as to what happened and who was behind his death in specific. Hold on, give me a second. 1 second. 1 second. Girl, shout out. Today's been a day. It's like I'm always reading and somebody's always coming in and disturbing. Like it's like, what the heck? No, my child had to come by. He wanted to go get something at the store because I kicked him out for a bit because I need to do this live. Um, I remember when Tupac died on Friday the 13th. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So obviously we know that he died on a weird date. I actually really remember like vivid memories of me actually when Tupac died. Like I was 96, I would have been 10, about to turn 11. And I never forget, I were in this bait, or like, I had a basement because this is where they lived in the suburbs. So we're in the basement. And my brother, because my older brother is like, one brother is 6 years older than the other, and the old eldest of us is 9 years older than me. And we were in the basement, and I'll never forget. And it was much music because I'm from Canada. We don't got MTV. We had much music. And they kept on playing I Shed So Many Tears. I Shed So Many Tears. Like it was on every new thing, but they kept playing that song. And I remember that, like, what's that instrument that that fucking sound used to friggin' like scare the shit out of me for years. Like I could not like hear that song because like I remember the day that he died. Like I remember like just the essence of like the craziness around it because it just felt like it resonated and it was so dark. Like when he died, like I remember the energy feeling so dark, and I like now that I look back, I understand. But like back then, I didn't know. That's how always scared me. I just like, and it was just girl. I remember my brother used to play it, especially play it close to bed. I used to like scream. I never wanted to hear that song. And it was after being in a coma for 7 days too. So a lot of spiritual numbers in relationships passed. Right. Okay. So hey, listen to me. Hush your mouth. Okay. So, anyways, you're only three. Yeah, I was 10. I was 10 turning 11 that year. His song Hail Mary used to always, yes. And my eldest brother was like my brother, my second oldest brother, he liked them. But my eldest brother, like, he loved Tupac. And my eldest brother actually kind of look, now that I think about it, he kind of looks like Tupac. So he kind of used to emulate his looks sometimes too. You know what I mean? And I know like this is like, as far as I remember, this was on the tail end of like their beef, or a tail end of their beef being at their height between Bad Boy and Death Row all this shit. So like everybody's thing was like, oh, you know what? Um, Biggie got him killed. Biggie, well, they didn't actually think Biggie got him killed. They thought Biggie actually killed him. I don't know if you actually remember that, Shauna, but that was a word on the street. Like where when I, where I was growing up, was like, yeah, Biggie killed him. Biggie killed him. And it was a whole thing. Like I remember like the news coverage. Like they didn't stop talking about Tupac for months. Yes, Spirit confirming. I know that's where my dog is. And the disruption and the disturbance. But fast forward, some could say that the Illuminati killed them. You know what I mean? That it was them folks that got him. Some could say it was Biggie that got them, and everyone for Bad Boy. But this is saying, and what's happening and what's in trial right now, is that there is a man by the name of Chef G. Yeah, it was dark. Just like there was just like this ominous aura in the air. You know what I mean? So fast forward, now we're come 30 years. Um, Several posthumous albums and his mother passing and yada yada yada, and the legacy of Tupac continues to live on. I'm not sure when this story came out exactly, but alternative dialogue, please. Alternative storyline. Please correct me on parts that I'm wrong. But fast forward, there is a suspect in this case by the name of Chef G. Okay, Chef G is a gangster of some sort. I'm not sure if he's actually a gangster that's based in Vegas. I'm sure he probably is. Um, it's like I knew he was going to process. It's always him and his being messages. Exactly. But as much as always talked about passing away. He always used the reference Keffe D. I fuck up with Chef D. Thank you, darling. Okay. But in context, he always went by a moniker of Machiavelli. Now, Machiavelli, I believe he was an artist or a painter or whatever the fuck, or was he an no, he was an activist of some sort, okay? And I believe that he was Italian. I gotta look it up exactly what year he was born. But the context of the real Machiavelli is that he faked his own death to avoid prosecution or execution. Okay, so as much as you know, okay, so now let's go back to the Machiavelli album. Okay, so when we when we look at the Machiavelli album right now, you can look it up. The reference that is being used is Jesus when he was crucified. Okay, so obviously the emblem of the sacrificial lamb, right? If we go into context of what's happening in the industry and them folks, I say them folks, there is also always a role. There's always the exchange is always the exchange or the debt always comes with you having to sacrifice somebody. But in reality, he sacrificed in this context for what's being displayed is that he sacrificed himself. You know what I mean? And it's almost like we were getting a storyline leading up to it. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of people and artists, for example, one of them being a really big one that died recently. He's more known in the Punjabi community. Is Sidhu Muswala. I don't know if you guys know him. He's really big out here because we have a cute Indian community here. Um, but he was kind of like a soothsayer. So, for example, like depending on his deal or whatever the case may be, or in what context of what deal that he had, he or if he went to a pundit, because sometimes even in the Sikh religion they go to, I don't even know if that word pundit is used in Sikh religion, but they go to a pundit, which is like a psychic or somebody but a little bit more in depth than that. Like they actually read your destiny and all that stuff. You know what I mean? In context, like you literally can go to a pundit and ask the pundit like, "What day am I gonna die?" You know what I mean? Or how old am I gonna be when I die? So like you could prepare for like your end of days. And he used a context where he actually prepared, like he used a lot of imagery in his artwork or in his content um, that kind of gave like a preface to his death happening. Like some of his songs one of his songs is the date that he died. In some of the videos that you see from this guy Sudhu Maswala, like you see his car getting shot up, which that's how he died. He died with his car getting shot up. You know what I mean? So there are so many, like I said, so many conspiracies, so many different stories, so many different whatever that goes into what possibly happened to um, Tupac and what the real story is. So I think he rapped about dying because he went too far in the industry and he knew that's how it would end because he wouldn't fold. That's exactly it. Or at the same time, like if you're under a spiritual attack, for example, like there could have been he probably had experiences of prophecy. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to them folks, they all work with the mind. You know what I mean? So like usually most people when they're under a spiritual attack or somebody tries to spiritually attempt to come at them, you know what I mean? They always have a dream of it or it's seen in some way. You know what I mean? So let's go and tap into the energies right now and see what we see around the whole murder case and why it's happening and what the outcome is going to be. I literally heard hit for hire. Okay. I heard hit for hire and I heard death. Okay. So let me break this down the best way I see it. Because when I'm seeing this Keffe D guy, it's like I'm seeing him and I'm seeing a whole gang of people behind him. So, oh, I forgot this part. So, what happened was is that why Keith D is actually being charged for the murder of Tupac is allegedly he got previous one of the nights that they were partying, he got into a fight with Tupac and his entourage. He wasn't too like he wasn't. I guess he got beat up by them. I wouldn't even say it was a fight because he got his ass kicked. He got his ass kicked by Tupac and his entourage. He wasn't loving that idea of that. He was a little bit buttered, but hurt over the whole situation. Went back, got some of his family members or gang members that he was with, and they came back and there was retaliation, and they came in and killed Tupac. Okay, but what I'm hearing is hit for hire. So I'm getting the sense that in a lot of these situations, especially when it comes to the police, them folks, whatever the case may be, they have a way of staging things as it was a gang related situation. Because there are definitely people that are in the higher ranks of gang activity that have close relationships with certain law enforcements or whatever the case may be. And it's either in a way where it is protecting the gang members and certain members of the gang, or there are certain things or certain acts that get carried out on behalf of these people that hire them. And that way, depending on how they want it look to the media, they want to make it seem like it was a gang related cause or something that has to do with the streets. It's nothing that has to do with anything or anybody that's behind a desk with a white collar. You know what I mean? I get the sense that when it comes to the situation, I get the sense that there's like an incurring debt. What I'm getting is almost like it's like when you make the deal with the devil. You know what I mean? When you make the deal with the devil, you're constantly indebted in some way. You know what I mean? You're always getting very little for how much you gotta give. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's checkers, it's not chess. It's checks, it's chess, it's not checkers. That there's always gonna be a way of some nature that you're gonna end up slipping up. But I don't know why I get the energy that it goes in layers. You know what I mean? Like it goes in. You know what this reminds me of? Oh my god. What's the name of the movie that had was that Shia LaBeouf? No, that wasn't Shia LaBeouf. It had Angelina Jolie, Morgan Freeman. Um, what was the name of that movie? Somebody help me. The movie where it was like they would get like a transcript that would come, and then that's how they were able to get their hit. You know what I mean? But you never know if your name will ever actually get downloaded in that transcript, and you would get that, and then you would get hit. Because there's even people that were in, like they would carry out the acts. Yeah. Oh, he said that Diddy did pay him, but again, right? Okay, so hit for hire, right? But I feel I love that movie. What's the name of the fucking movie? It's like slipping me right now. It's not Mothman Prophecies. That's not it. It's Morgan Freeman. It's friggin' Angelina Jolie. Who else is in it? And hold on, let me ask. The Bone Collector. Yeah, Google it. And it's like where they like if they will get these threads, it will come through this thread or like a threading machine, and they will literally they will get a name of who they're gonna kill next, like who they have to take a hit on, and like they were so loyal to the system and how it worked. It's like they just did what they had to do. You know what I mean? But it came down to it where it was like one of the people within that came I forget what they actually call it though, but that came through the transcript was one of the people that was in the hit. Wanted. There we go. Wanted. It's giving like wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like they're everyone it depends like you're protected by the gang, you're able to make money with the gang, you're able to have a life with the gang. But you never know when your name is gonna get called and you gotta pay the piper. So in situations like this, when it comes to Keith D, I almost feel like it's like that. He was just carrying on an act. He got orders from the higher up to do so, And then it comes to a point where when it comes to certain people, depending on the area, like say for example, it's like, all right, there's a cop, I can allow maybe, I don't know, like 5 or 6 crimes to slide. You know what I mean? But now we're getting in the back end of like an overload now. So there's only so much that I have to, like, I can really give you a pass before like shit gets suspicious and anyone else that's in the higher up starts asking me like, why is there so much crimes going on in this neighborhood and no one's regulating it? You know what I mean? So somebody got to take the fall. So it's like, all right, well, it's now your turn. You're going to take the fall. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy that I'm almost getting in this situation. Like, I get the sense, like, I'm sure, like, he may have carried out the act, but it just feels like to me, like it's for hire. Like, who the real killer is bigger than this guy. You know what I mean? I get the sense that he's gonna get the book thrown at him. Again, that I feel like it's like a script already been written for him of how the actual case is gonna go. So they feel like they already have somebody in jail, considering that the case is actually open. But I get the sense that there's a bigger thing behind it as to why it's like I heard it's not protocol, but there's something behind it as to why they're even, yeah. I think Diddy is involved because when it comes to them folks, yes, in certain ways, but Tupac was already a problem. You see what I'm saying? So when I say to Diddy's not fully involved, no, I feel like he's in some ways. He was already a problem. Like, I wouldn't be surprised I got this right now. I wouldn't be surprised even if Biggie and Tupac called truce even before any of the deaths were like on the horizon. You know what I mean? Who knows if maybe they were starting to get taken out because, you know, they were both catching on to the game around the same time and it was like, we can't have that. You know what I mean? Now you're getting out of submission now. You know what I mean? But I just get the sense that, yeah, the script was already cut. I see him like in the courthouse, and even what's being said that's happening, he's just kind of like, yeah, I didn't do that, but okay. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand, it's almost like you say to yourself, like, who would put themselves up for sacrifice in a way, and sacrifice their freedom and sacrifice their life to be behind a cell. But people that would do something that obviously seems so absurd, there's always a good reason for it. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like say like it's his family was threatened. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't go do this now, like, I'm gonna kill your kids, whatever. Or if you go and do this, you're gonna be able to get X, Y, and Z kind of money, and your family's gonna be taken care of. Your daughter's gonna be able to go to college. You know what I mean? But this is a sacrifice behind John. You know already once you're in here, we could protect you more. You can get more stuff. There's gonna be certain perks that you can get. You know, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So, Abe, Marquis says, so you're saying in the industries, like you can play with the players and are protected by them, but eventually your number gets called to pay up. Exactly. Did he truly ever do everything he said in the book? Are we talking about Chef, what's this guy's name? G Chef? What's his name again? Let me scroll up. I keep on saying Chef G. I think there's actually a nigga out here that's called Chef G. You know, that's actually hilarious. There's a rapper from Keffe D. Is that where Chief Keef got his name from? Keffe D. Why was he so vocal? Because that was a part of the plan. That was a part of the plan. Profiting off of it. It's a storyline. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the energy I'm getting. Like, it's a part of the plan. It's not giving like there's a lot because it's like I see exec, I see that happening, and I see them other guys. It's like, you know what I mean? But it's all connected. It is. It is scary. And it goes into like what I'm about to talk about next. Like, you have to understand when it comes to people, when it comes to the music industry, especially when you're in the music industry and you're a rapper. Like white collar, blue collar niggas, and niggas in fucking shiesties all intersect. And at the end of the day, what they all have to offer each other is an action and something being carried out and money and movement. You know what I mean? So as much as it's like, oh no, like we don't do that. It's like it's all a system, even a business. Like jail itself is a business. Like jails are private. Like jails in America are privately owned, bro. A lot of these people that get these they like bro, some of your license plates were made in jail. You know what I mean? Like jail is a business at the end of the day. So as much as we try to separate them or think they're just different entities, they all work hand in hand. It just depends on which guy or which guy up there is the one that's shaking the hand of the other. You know what I mean? Thank you. It's the same shit. Well, that's how the mafia moved. It's just that they made the mafia look stylish. You know what I'm saying? The mafia does the same shit, but they wear nice suits, they wear nice colognes, they drive nice cars. You know what I mean? It's like they can make it look classy. As black people, we're ghetto, but it's the same shit. You know what I mean? So, any question? And oh, actually, no. Let me give a summary. Yeah, I get a number three. So I get that this case is going to be wrapped up pretty more soon. I don't know why I feel like there's going to be some other leaking evidence that's going to happen or come out or whatever the case may be. It's weird because I feel like if it's anything that has to do with Diddy, I feel like it's going to be mentioned, but I don't know if it's going to be mentioned within the case. It feels like after the judgment is where you're going to start to hear rumblings and leaks about Diddy because I get the sense that, like, in some shape or form, like it's like they have that in the back pocket in some way. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to Diddy or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Hi, Infinite Fashionista. You know what I mean? So like he ties into. We just finished Pac, yo. We just finished Pac. You're gonna have to go rewind that to listen. But you know what I mean? That's what I get coming up thus far. But I get the sense too, like he's gonna die behind jail because I don't get him like surviving long behind there. Like you know what I mean? I know he's not that young, but I almost get like there's like an instance, whether it be sickness or an actual injury, that he's not. But I also get there's gonna be other people as well that are gonna be tied into the case that are gonna go in under the caliber of that case. You know what I mean? But other than that, it just feels to me like I see more stuff coming out. We're talking about the Tupac trial. We just got started. I know we have so many other reasons. We just got started, but we're talking. But I feel like that's what's going to end up happening. Is yeah, there's going to be a judgment. But I see two other people too that's connected. So I don't know if they're charged too, but I see a connection when it comes to that. And also, it's like this happening also leads into all the 30th anniversary stuff. Again, money. You know what I mean? The higher ups have the Diddy card in there and the backpack. Ooh, the higher ups have the Diddy card in the back of their pockets in case Diddy starts to act up. Harbinger is love. That's exactly it. It's like if a nigga really want to try and not behave, watch, I have that, eh? like literally, like that's what it is. It's just like, bitch, I'll throw this book at you. Are you dumb? Like, do what I say. Like that's the energy I'm getting. Um, yeah, that's what I pretty much get. But I'm like, Lord have mercy, Tupac, my husband's so cute. Your husband has not rest in peace, man. Imagine you die and no one stops talking about you, child. Ow. Lord have mercy. Tupac busy as heck. At this point, who knows? Tupac is probably like a ascended master somewhere. Because it's like I've never seen like any artist, anybody just not like even when it comes to like of course there's like a lot of post hominist stuff that has come out for BIG and whatever the case may be, you know? But not like how they do Pac, man. Not like how they do Pac at all. That makes sense. You play the game unless they have something on you. Exactly. You got to. Then how can they control you? Like, you think half the things they tell you to do, you would do? No. They're going to use it against you or something against you. So you do what they want. You know? Deal with the devil, child. I got this thing, this glass tumbler. It's not a Stanley cup, but be keeping my water cold, child. Technology. What they say? They got this his corpse plastered all over social media. Like, come on. Like, is he still alive? I heard they spread his ashes in the oceans and smoked some. Something like that. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's alive now, but I don't think he died when they say he did. You know what I mean? So I have my conspiracies, yo. I'm different. I could be wrong, but I'll say that. You know? Do you think there will ever be an investigation on who killed Biggie next? Not really. No one cares enough. Tupac, like no one cares. It sounds bad, but no one cares enough. And his mom is gone now. Who's doing that? No one cares enough. And it's sad, but I don't think so. I think somebody's gonna confess. Like it's giving like the end of days type of thing. Like they're on their deathbed and they want to make right with God before they pass, and they feel like, you know what? Like I'm never gonna be able to sleep right until I actually like confess this truth. Yeah, then yeah, you know. Did Tupac know his demise was coming? Oh hell yes. I think as soon as he knew that he was getting some, when he started to see, because remember Tupac has a background, like his parents were Black Panthers. So I think when he started to see and notice that he was able to make an impression on people, as Tupac back in the day was like like the equivalent of the modern day influencer. You know what I mean? When he started to see that he was able to have influence and the impact of how that influence was changing the youth, he knew he had to watch his back because that comes with the territory. Like that's a family heirloom. Like this is what happens to people like us. You know what I mean? I think that Diddy was involved in his death somehow too. He kept saying they were close, but that wasn't the case. Yeah, yeah. Impression of fashion. He's like he always had a target on his back. They seen him as a threat. Of course. Like think about it. People that like are not people that are like a part of the Black Panthers. Like you go on the CIA watch list, eh? Like there's certain people that are in any way that are attached like revolutionaries or any of those sort. Like they're on a watch list, even their family. Like you know the singer MIA. MIA's father was an activist with the Tamil Tigers. She is on a CIA watch list. Like wherever she goes in the world, they're docking her. Like, yeah, you come here. Like we need to search you. Like take out your laptop. Like she's that girl. You know what I mean? Because you're associated with not hate crime. I forget. I don't forget it. Like any kind of like revolutionary activism, whatever there is. I can't find the right name, but yeah, Pac wasn't close to Snoop either. No, he wasn't. He was on the closest to all of them. Okay, Goya Velez said, "Oh, I like Goya Velez. Goya Velez is the one that used to beat Remy's ass, right? That's another story for another day." Gloria Velez said Tupac saved her and Aaron Hall and her unborn child from being killed and sacrificed by at a celeb even back in the day and shortly after he died. I believe that because Gloria Velez has her way around the industry. Like, why do you think she was in all those videos? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if the walls can talk, you know what I mean? She's that girl. Like, she's been the fly on the wall, you know? Yes, like the people that moved bombing here in Philly, they watch that whole family till this day. Exactly. Like when you're on that list, you're on that list. Like they gonna watch your ass, child. So yeah, that's what I get. So any more questions, guys? Hold on, give me a second. Let me grab this. Hey, let me grab this. Okay, sorry guys. Ooh. Will his sister get the real estate back? Yeah, she will. Yeah, I heard she will. I just feel like if we're her struggles like a little bit of the financial backing, but I feel like somebody's gonna come in and somebody's gonna have a little mercy for her and be like, all right, man. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's that. I feel like she might have like an angel investor or somebody that comes along and it says, okay, we got you. Yeah. That's what I see happening. Also, she would be over everything. Exactly. Why is Suge Knight scared to talk? Because he knows the truth, and I don't think Suge Knight is a person that knows how to lie, and he wants to. Thank you. Suge Knight is a guy that's really cocky. Not cocky, but when it comes to his pride as a man, that shit is ironclad, bro. Like even if he's playing the game, you gonna he gonna be the toughest player you play. Like that's literally how Suge Knight is. Like even though he knows that okay, you got something that I don't have or have the power that I don't have, at the end of the day, you ain't getting shit out of me. And he ain't like you know what I mean. And he ain't scared of dying. So it's like, what you gonna do? Kill me? Like shit. Like right here. What do you want me to do? You want me to swallow that pill? Like what do you want me like? So they're just like, ah, fuck this guy. Fuck him. Get him back in his cell. Like I mean, he's a Scorpio. Like it's like no, exactly. We'll go to. That's the Scorpio spirit. We'll go down swinging. We'll go down swinging. Like because it's like no, you're not gonna have that over me. Who are you, God? Because like the only person that could ever come and tell me anything is Saint Peter at the gate to open it for me to go to Jehovah Right Driver and my Creator. That's it. Other than that, move your ass. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. We've actually spent a lot of time. We've been reading for a better part of 35 minutes on Tupac alone. So let's get into Lil Durk trial. Any final questions, revelations from what we got on Tupac? Nope. All right, so let's move right along. Okay, guys, I'm gonna need you guys to help me build this story as I go. Okay, so we're reading on the Lil Durk trial. Okay, so Lil Durk, thank you. Lil Durk is known as a rapper that is from Chicago. If I'm not mistaken, when it comes to gang affiliation, yeah, when it comes to gang affiliation, he's a black disciple. I don't know. You guys correct me. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just know these things because one day I went on a deep dive watching a bunch of documentaries on Chicago gangs and Chicago culture. I was just in Chicago the other day, child. But like this is like a while ago, and I went into like a deep dive, like finding out culture, like the gangs and blah, blah, blah. But I think he's a black disciple. I'm not sure. I don't know what kind of gang he's from. I'm correct. Yay! Okay, he's a black disciple. So black disciples are one. A very big gang known out in Chicago. I think they're from 62nd Street or whatever the case may be. As you know, in these parts of Chicago, the murder rates are very high. Average age of a child or average age of a young man living is about anywhere between 17 to 22. So Little Dirk grew up in high very treacherous upbringing and very dangerous times. As you know, like a next name for actually Chicago is called Chirac, because at one point they had the highest murder rate. Even more, there were more people dropping dead in Chicago than there was in Iraq themselves. Okay, while there was a civil war going on for the day, and that's how they adopted the name Chirac. So now, fast forward, Little Dirk, he's come out of he's found himself a career in music. He's been able to work with Drake and a lot of number of different big names in the industry, and made a name for himself. Put his turf, put his whoever on the map, and that's how we come to know King Von. Okay, which King Von is known as the hip hop serial killer. Okay, King Von is all passed away. Little Durk is still doing his thing. Another thing that Little Durk is very admired for is his relationship with his girlfriend. What's her name? India, and things like that. So fast forward, I believe it was last year or the year before. I'm not sure. You guys correct me on this. He was actually taken when and charged for multiple of things. One of them, some of them, yeah, well, multiple of things, which was firearm charges that he got, a lot of charge for murder for hire, as well as racketeering. So pretty much they got John on the same shit they had young sub on. Okay. And because of all the actual affiliations and things like that with the gang, and things like that, that's how he was indicted on these charges. As you know, when it comes to the music and the music industry, there's no, it has not musical lyrics and things like that are not things that are admissible in court, as you know, even though that they usually go through the music to kind of find ways and find things to kind of rack up something on these rappers. At the end of the day, the actual lyrics itself cannot be used as a confession of any sort to any of these murders that he has. So he has a lot of charges that are on him right now, and he can face several years for the things that he's done. And right now, people are kind of like in a limbo of what's to happen next for Little Durk. So I thought that I would tap into what could be happening for Little Durk and if he's going to actually get indicted on any of these charges and do any time. Okay. All right. Oh my God. Ooh. I don't know why I keep on seeing like a lasso. But you know how you see the lassos in the old day? It's not like a lasso like Asheo. It's not a lasso where it's like it's a lasso that's going around your neck. It's like he stepped into the lasso and it just pulled him up by his one leg and he's hanging upside down. What's actually funny, if we look at this imagery of tarot cards, that is actually the imagery in some decks of the hangman. So I'm actually seeing that energy when it comes to him. Like hangman energy. You know what I mean? Now, when we go into hangman energy, we can always talk about the fact that it can mean like there's a lapse in time, there's delays that are being caused. You could be looking at things from a different perspective now, or it could be even sometimes in literal sense that your life got turned upside down. I feel like he's actually experiencing a taste of all things in once, but most of all, I get the sense like the reason why he feels that like hanging by one foot, it's almost like I'm getting the energy of like not having the right footing to protect himself or prevent himself from actually getting himself out of the situation. You know what I mean? I get the sense that he kind of walked. It's like he walked in, like when he got caught, he was barefoot. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have a lot of protection on the standing. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like he has the right ducks in the row and the right people that he needs that are advocating for him. So I feel like that's literally fucking what's like fucking him up right now, where he's like, holy shit. Because literally when I get the energy of this case, it's like, bruh, I'm not gonna lie, it's like the charges are looking kind of sticky. But I'm feeling like it's not sticky like glue, it's like sticky like Velcro. You know what I mean? So you know, they can hang on him, but you can easily pull him off, you know? And I think right now, like the energy I'm getting is him trying to scramble how the fuck to pull these off. You know what I mean? Because I get a sense that his money is not exactly right, and that's probably where the wrong footing comes in. Because I feel like his money is not like up to par. Like it's almost like say like he was just about to make a move and that move was gonna like get him like 20 mil. You know what I mean? And that would have had him good. It's like he got caught just before that deal could go through. Now it's like fuck, like okay, like it's getting tight. I like my girl gotta eat. We gotta pay on the house. Like the bills gotta get paid. The car note is coming out. My God, my kids going to college, dude. Like it's like, damn, like the money is tight. And it's like, if I had a little bit more, I would be able to get through. And what the irony of it all was sad about it is that I don't feel like when it comes to industry people, that's what happened to Thug. See, exactly. So it just makes perfect sense that these people know exactly when to come and get you. You know what I mean? Like, like asshole, you're not gonna be able to buy yourself out of this one. Um, Not a lot of industry people like he's actually very prideful too. Okay, because he's worried about paying the piper. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, I can borrow from Peter to pay Paul, but like, like he's watching stats right now. I don't know why I get that. Cause I get he's a person like I feel like he's mastered like an algorithm, so to speak, when it comes to album sales and nets and money and da 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 da. Like he knows how to hit his shit where it's like, okay, I probably could aim for this and I can make this. You know what I mean? I get the sense for him like where he's at is like he's watching the industry like shift as he's in there. I shade the headband. He's watching the industry shift as he's in there and he's like, fuck, like okay, if I do borrow from Peter, like how much time is Paul? Like how if I do borrow from Peter, how much time am I gonna get before I have to owe him back? You know what I mean? And that's the thing because it's like he doesn't really want to put himself in the position of coming out and being very broke. You know what I mean? Because if I feel like in some way, like if he actually does go to Peter to get this money, it's almost like he's gonna have to go a minute where shit is gonna be tight. Like, bro, it might get to the point that we're gonna have to put the house up. Like, you know what I mean? And he doesn't want to get to that point. Not just because of whatever, but it feels like also pride. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I worked too fucking hard for this shit. For me to get into this shit. And that's where like this is where the storyline is ending up for me. Like, fuck that. No, like I'm gonna like ride it to the end of it and see what happens, you know? I even feel like people are advising him to do it. And he's just like, no, like he's very prideful as a man. What sign is he? What sign is Little Durk? Because I see a lot of pride. You know what sign Little Durk is? He's a lead. Okay, okay. Yes, it could be the male pride, but now I understand why he's weighing out the odds. I wonder if the Hangman's a Libra card. No, it's a Pisces card, I think. But I see him weighing out the odds. Like he's sitting back, but he real fucking nervous though. Because it's like, damn, like they got me good. They got him better than they got Thug. Like they got him good. And the fucking charges that are on him are like long as train smoke, yo. He's like, damn. I see him doing the math, like, damn, if I can get this or get off of this or get off of that, like, shit, like, it's still gonna look like 15 years. It's still gonna look like 20 years. Like, he's nervous, but I get the sense that it feels like at the 11th hour, he's gonna play the game. And I get the sense that there's gonna be some people that are gonna magically turn up that confess to some of the actions or things that are happening. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's like again, it's gonna be like Velcro. You know what I mean? Like that's pulling. Like what was okay? His best friend since childhood. Okay, that's why it's sticky. 'Cause I'm like, okay, it's sticky. Like I'm getting like it's one of those things. Like fuck. Like okay, like shit. Like oh, they got me good. Like oh, I can't dance out of this one now. Like I gotta be able to friggin' have like some concrete proof to really like get myself out of it. You know what I mean? But I get the sense that he's going to. I feel if anything, I get a number two. So I see him there for he might do a little time, but I get like he's gonna be out. But I almost get that something's gonna end up happening to the person that he actually got money. Oh shit! Oh, okay. That makes sense. Maybe what I'm seeing is like actually literally happening in real time, bro. Because I get the sense like he's like he got somebody's number in his back pocket. You know what I mean? It's almost like I know I could call this person, but like I'm gonna see how it plays out first before I actually have to pull out this card and call this person. Don't be surprised if you start seeing people drop out. Don't see them. You know what I mean? But I also get the sense like whoever he has to get money from, like say for example, like it's one of those things. Like by the time he gets out, that person something's gonna happen to that person too. So I almost feel like it gets to delay like whatever he gotta do. You know what I mean? But I get the sense that he's gonna come out and stuff. I don't know why I see him doing an album with Drake or something with Drake. But I feel like if it's not Drake, let's just say I'll say just to generalize it, like I see him doing like a collaborative album when he gets out. Like I get a collaborative album that comes out, like not like a song, like an album. You know what I mean? Which follows with a tour. You know. But I get a sense of moving too. I don't know why I get the sense that he might like move abroad or something. Like I feel like he's gonna try to leave America. Like that's the energy I get. Like leaving America. Like when he comes out of this, I feel like he's gonna want to like he's gonna want to live a low profile. Like you know what I mean? Just have like a low profile life and like not be so like front page. You know what I mean? Like I get that that's the energy that I get around him. But yeah, that's what I see. Yeah, it sounds like Drake. I think because it looked like Drake. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Like say like Drake has been helping him, but Drake got a guy. You know what I'm saying? He got a dude. Like okay, like mom is the word. Like I'll call dude, and if I call dude, just know you better have dude's money because dude don't play that. You know what I mean? He's like, you know that okay, there's probably like a 25% interest rate on when you get money from dude, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the energy I'm getting. That's what he was trying to do. Would he move out of the country? Oh, that's what he was trying to do? Okay, yeah, cause I see him moving out of the country. Like he's done with America. Like he wants to lay low. He wants to take his wife, take his kids, and just kick up somewhere and just live the rest of his life. And he'll do his music, probably do his little solo 1, 2 tours, and he's out of there. Like if we're up to him, he'll come to America, do a show, and probably do like a 2 city show and be out. Like you know what I mean? Like that's the energy I'm getting. Like and maybe I don't know. Like I always say, like some people like in the industry, child, Europe is a very good market. Europe and Oceania, child, there's money to make out there, child. Like you know what I mean? He's probably gonna do something like that. So that's what I get about from Little Durk and what I see coming up for him. I don't know why I hear Blue making some commentary too. There's some rapper that's gonna make some commentary. Was like, I what the fuck, and I see people are gonna be frying him for that. People gonna be talking shit. He gonna be frying him for that. Like somebody's gonna try and find a way to jump on the bandwagon. Like say like you know like everyone's gonna be covering the actual trial, and someone gonna try to say some slick shit to try to see if you can get some like clout off of it. But I feel like it's like something can happen to that person. Not like die, but like you know you might get handled. You know. But that's what I see for Little Dirk. Any questions? Ooh, child. Let's see. I'm holding off doing my hair, guys, because I need to do my hair closer for something. So, la 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 la. Okay. Any questions, guys? No huge Little Dirk fans in here, eh? All right. So let's move on to the next reading. All right. So we are going to tap in. I'm here. Ready to hear for the circus. Okay. We're gonna tap in and we're gonna get the messages from the Arishas, but not just about from the Arishas, but even from my own experience regarding altars, okay, and what an altar is, and starting an altar and maintenance and understanding what the responsibility that comes behind an altar. Okay, so number one is okay. Usually, typically, when it comes to thank you. Oh yeah, and make sure you hit hype if you guys can on the video, child. Okay, so you know what? In Pretty Fashionista, I'm gonna make you a moderator. Okay, all right. Okay, so I made you a moderator now. Okay, so what was I gonna say? All right. So when it comes to altars, okay, so typically speaking, when it comes to having a spiritual practice, like we are familiar with seeing altars too in well, mainly you see them in the Catholic Church, or you can also see them depending on the churches and depending on what kind of denomination in Christian churches or other and altars in different religions or whatever the case may be. But when we're talking more in a spiritual sense, going into in the realm of manifestation, ancestor worship, or I would like to say ancestor honoring, because it's not like I don't worship my ancestors. Like my ancestors, I honor them. My ancestors lead me to honor to worship God. You know what I mean? But ancestor worship or whatever the case may be, um, typically depending on the religion or depending on what form of practice you actually do, they always say that it's imperative to actually get initiated. When you are initiated, you usually get your guerreros, you get your spirits, your santos, and whatever the case may be that you work with. Like for example, everybody sees me wear my alekis. Okay, you guys see this a lot. That's something that I signaturely wear, especially when I'm doing spiritual work or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But these things are not necklaces. This is not fashion. You see what I'm saying? The actual essence of each arisha that I work with or honor in some way, the essence of them are it's almost like a portable altar that I'm wearing. You know what I mean? And there's actual specific ways that you're supposed to actually take care of, feed, and charge up your alikis in essence of how they're connected to your altars. You understand? So a lot of times, like I remember there was I was watching this video just in passing, and there was a babalao, and there was a certain recitation or a salutation that if you are wearing a certain aleki, you know what I mean? The aleki is actually a green and brown aleki. That means that you're a babalao. That there is a certain salutation that you say, like an honoring of like what you say to that when you see your fellow babalao. Like for example, like if you were in the army, you know what I mean? Army people and actual people that are in the army are the only people that are restricted to like use a salute as a salutation that identifies who they are. You know what I mean? Or their affiliation to the military, the army, or whatever the case may be. It's the same way when it comes to alekis. You know what I mean? So meaning it's like if you what you wear, you have to have some ranking that actually comes behind that in some ways. You know what I mean? Working with the actual arishas comes with paying rights. You know what I mean? And giving offerings. You know what I mean? And I like don't get me wrong, there are generalized offerings that you do give on an altar, whether it be like fruit or whatever the case may be. But there's an actual proper way that you actually serve the arishas, and that's by doing rice and doing feasts for them. So that means that that goes into like you going to your babalao and getting an actual rituals done for you. You know what I mean? Where there's literally a feast done in your name. Like they will sacrifice a goat, cow, whatever the case may be, chicken, depending on what the Erisha wants as a right for you to actually have that affiliation and that closeness with Erisha. So as much and like don't get me wrong, a lot of us do inherit crowns, we do inherit initiations through our ancestors in a way. Like I've seen situations where I've actually seen the arishas actually show up to people or come up in their readings and make themselves known that they are in alignment with your bloodline. But in reality, you have to understand that when it comes to the working with the Orishas exclusively, having their altars and whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you're actually getting the proper guidance and getting the proper rites being done to have access to these things, because there's such thing as familiar spirits. There's such things as lower vibrational entities and things like that come into come in and masquerade as these Orishas. Okay. So I usually always typically try to let people know that if you're starting on an altar and if you don't have any formal initiations done, you should be working with a synchronizing saint if you want to actually be able to get to create the same essence of the actual Orisha. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, there's a lot of people that I know that I've seen or come across that have had actual Orisha come to them. But if not case, if you have connection or with Orisha, whether you are initiated or not, if you want to work really closely, intentively with an Orisha, it's always imperative to actually go do your rites. You know what I mean? And do a proper ritual and proper honoring to work exclusively with that Arisha. Okay. So that's pretty much what that part is there. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying. So now when it comes to an actual altar, people have to understand in Ifa, or when it comes in general on any altar of any sort, they say they ride on your head or they have your head. You know what I mean? So when it comes to your head, your crown, your ori, is that's where the arishas ride on. So that's also your physical altar, which is your ori, keeping your head clean. You know what I mean? Keeping your head energized, feeding your ori. You know what I'm saying? Another thing as well is that you have to understand that when it comes to altars, there's different kind. We talked about this in the readings. Exactly. When it comes to any client that comes to me or anyone I know that I talk to when it comes to Alicia, it's like I'm gonna give you the real, because at the end of the day, me as a person that isn't initiate and everything like that, and me not actually properly guiding you is not right. Like I'm not gonna blow smoke up in your ass. It's the real. You know what I mean? There's obviously ways to discern if a babalawo or somebody is good for you or not, but get rights done so you know that you actually are working in unison with that spirit, right? So, because of course, when it comes to the Babalao and all these things, they actually have the proper informative altars that are affiliated or associated with that Arisha. Sometimes you have familiar spirits that show up, whether you want to call them demons, whatever the case may be, or sometimes it could be even your ancestors self masquerading. But they say each or all. It's kind of a duality in that way, right? When it comes to an altar itself is like an engine. Okay. So what every piece and how it functions is very imperative to how things manifest when using your altars. You know what I mean? Like for example, in the past I had in the past, and this goes into like we'll get into offerings in a second. In the past, like I would be like a person that was very generous with my altar. You know what I mean? Like I would be like, okay, I'll put like because like I'm thinking the more Catholic way. You know what I mean? Like for example, like I grew up being exposed to Catholicism, as in Catholicism, like being around my Italian family members, and my really best friend growing up, she was Greek, but she was Orthodox. And one thing that they always did for practice, whether it be friends or family, is that they would either print off a picture of that person and put it on their altar, or put like an emblem or something of that person on their altar, like as a representation. So it's like, okay, like whenever I go to pray for a shun, go to pray to a shun, or I go to pray to Neveah, like they're guiding and they're protecting this person. You know what I mean? And I would be none the wiser because people that I'm around or whatever that I care about, like they're like family. So I'll put it like there'll be an essence of them on the altar, something. Or if I continuously, pray for them, it's like even like the energy and the essence is still there. You know what I mean? I would do that, and it's like there has like balance is key, especially when it comes to the universe and the ethers. Is balance. Like for everything that you're asking for or for everything you're doing, you should be putting up an offering. You know what I mean? So, for example, I would do a candle. I'm just gonna do a candle for you, but it's like I would do it unconsciously, and then that person did not put down an offering. It was my offering that actually helped with the petition. So now, then I was having the issue with linking, where it was like okay, now this person is manifesting off of my energy and I'm not knowing this. And I'm wondering, like, okay, shit, like, why the fuck is things weird? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like, I was like even inheriting like some people's like like not mannerisms, but like their subconscious thoughts and ways, you know what I mean? And it's like only when I would like now moving in the future would I clear the person's energy off my altar where I was like, why the fuck was I doing that? Like, why did I send that reality? Because I was not understanding the actual power of what it meant, or the how powerful or the essence of what it meant to actually put something on the altar. You know what I mean? That's why, like, when you see certain saints, like, they always have their specific offerings or taboo offerings they take. Because at the end of the day, if we're not talking about the actual spirit itself as if it's an actual person or a figure, we're talking about the energy. And it's like the energy itself is in alignment with that, because everything in this world gives off a vibration. You know what I mean? Like oranges give off a certain vibration, for example, because you know how the fruit grows. It, for example, grows in places that are really hot with a lot of sun. So that's a lot of sun energy, happiness, then honey. Like, you know, when it comes to the essence of sweetness, like we're talking about things when it comes to offerings of shun. You know what I mean? So like when you put offerings on the altar, those things um, vibrate how you manifest things on your altar. You know what I mean? Or what can be manifested on your altar, right? So, like I said, going back to an altar itself, an altar is like an engine. You know what I mean? So, it's like, for example, how there's like the transmission, there's the brakes. There's like you need lighter fluid, you need a fucking brake fluid, things like that. That's how altars operate. You know what I mean? And it's like you have to look in, like you have to be able to understand the function of how your altar works, because not everyone's altar works the same. And why I say this, because when it comes to manifestation, we're not just talking Ifa, like it's said in Ifa, but when we're talking about manifestation itself, the vibration of how you manifest is going to vibrate and ripple into the essence of what you carry in your aura, right? That's why, for example, you will get suggestions from your babalao to get certain cleansings. You know what I mean? Oh, babalao, I need to go to, I'm going to school. I want to be able to get this grade, whatever, whatever, whatever. They tell, okay, you need to do this, 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 and this, and this, and this. Maybe take a bath or whatever the case may be, because when your essence and your energy is a certain way, that will be in the proper alignment of what you're trying to ask the Sarisha to do. And they'll be able to do it for you. You know what I mean? Um, so we have to understand that as well. Like some people, you can do, like I noticed something for like my clients and stuff, right? I could do a money candle for one client, and they're making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? But they have a certain energy and essence that easily manifests as money like that. Or I could fucking do a candle for our next client, and it just gets them a job where they make money, because like that's the essence and the tier of where they are, where they manifest money or what they feel like they need. You know what I mean? Or for example, if I'm working with somebody that kind of works in a business, for example, where yeah, what you put on your altar is what you get back. You know what I'm saying? And always make sure you pay your debt. Don't ever promise your don't ever never promise your saints you're going to do something you're not going to do, and don't ever ask them for nothing if you don't have an offering. You know what I mean? Like you have to put something down, even if you don't put it down as soon as you ask. Make sure whatever you have to promise them, you pay them. Don't leave yourself in debt, because then you're going to get an indebted result. You know what I'm saying? Um, Yeah, you definitely could tap in. I'm not saying that it's not working with altars and being able to manifest is a beautiful thing. I've been able to change my life. I've been able to get myself through situations and things like that because of my practice, and I'm grateful for it. But at the same time, it's like I think altar maintenance is a big thing. Like cleanliness is a big thing. We're not just talking physical cleanliness, because I've seen people's altars that look gorgeous and they're janky. You know what I mean? And I've seen some people's altars that are very basic and just straight to the point, but they can manifest some big things. You know what I mean? But I think the biggest thing is like people are not understanding is that when you decide to, or if you are drawn to, or you get the blessing to be called to actually have an altar, it comes with great responsibility. It comes with great responsibility. So you have to understand that if you manifest, like for example, I've had seen a situation like this with somebody. They manifested a bunch of stuff on the altar. You know what I mean? Like this stuff on their altars, whatever the case may be. And then they decided to take their altars down. And they were like, okay, well, everything feels stuck. But it's like, but everything that you were doing and the way you aligned yourself was in alignment with the orishas. Now you put the altars down. So like half of your petition or half of the work is on those altars. And now you're going through some kind of stagnation. Not like you can't go back to them and be like, okay, like take the stuff off. You can, but you have to understand it's like as much as we understand or you get a message in the spiritual, you have to find a way that works for you in reference that makes you understand or dummy it down in layman terms. You know what I mean? Because some people are really good with going up into spiritual realm and seeing things. Some people are not. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you want to find a way, in essence and symbolism, you understanding of what could be going on with your altar in any way. Like, of course, always have a spiritual advisor of some sort that's an expert in these things that is assisting you and guiding you. You know what I mean? In how to actually properly maintain your altar, but people have to understand like what you keep on your altar will keep on manifesting. Like I'm telling you, it could be the simplest thing. Like it could be, for example, you could make something innocent. Like I'm gonna make a honey jar. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna make the honey jar and I'm gonna put it on my altar. And like you put a honey jar on your altar, but it's a honey jar you made 3 years ago. So the energy, the essence, the planets, everything is not even aligned with that jar anymore. So now now considering the actual essence of the nature of what it is, it's a honey jar, so it's sticky, it moves slow, and it's old. What do you think is going to manifest on your altar? You know what I mean? You're going to feel like you're stuck in the same energy, nothing's moving, same shit's happening. I'm going in circles. You know what I mean? Like you have to be very mindful of the essence of the things that you're using and how you're manifesting that energy on your altar. You know what I mean? Like for me, like graveyard dirt. I'm very finicky with working with that because when it comes to graveyard dirt, like you're working with the dead. The dead ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the graveyard and the essence of the graveyard, the sun comes up, the sun goes down, you're in the same place. So, say for example, you think that working with graveyard is like, okay, spiritual, like it's like whatever, it's working with spirits, but you're working with the spirits of the dead. So, meaning that these are energies that don't actually have movement. And depending on if you didn't clear off the energy off your altar, clear the candle off your altar, or whatever the case may be, you have now created a cycle on your altar that you are accepting and you're okay with going in circles and feeling like you're getting nowhere fast. So, like for every single thing you use, manifestation on your altar, always make sure you're properly studying the essence of the energy and the vibration it gives and how it aligns with exactly the thing that you want. Because, like, we could say, oh, my girl, for example, one of my friends, she's actually a pharmacist, and she works in herbalism as well. And she works with there's a herb that she was posting, but she was posting because how do you clear? I'm going to explain that just now. Okay, so she works with herbs and stuff, but like she has a fun way of breaking them down scientifically. You know what I mean? Of how the herb works. And I saw her. I'm like, I work with that a lot, and I'm like, I work with that a lot for people. And she's like, what is that for? I'm like, well, I'm like for in magic we use it for to strengthen barriers. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, also too, like it has a little bit of a kickback effect. So like that's why it's being used. So she's like, okay. And then she just asked me, she's like, scientifically, how do you think it works? And I'm like, well, I think that the actual herb it create like on the physical, it has a binding effect to it. So the binding effect to it, and the structural effect of the herb itself creates a strong barrier, and that's how I feel in its essence why they interpret this as this can be a protection herb. You know what I mean? And she looked it up and she came back to me and she's like, "Oh shit, you're right." And I'm like, "Yeah, like because like when I take my herbs, I want to see what the fuck it works. Like you know what I mean? Like okay, like yeah, I know they say that this Palo Santo invites good spirits, but people don't know Palo Santo also works to remove blockages. You know what I mean? And it's like okay, so how does it remove blockages? Like those are things that you want to know. You know what I mean? Why you want to know these things, not just because of whatever, but like just again, it goes in essence on things that you put on your altar, which is incense raised on your head. And especially if you're working for other people or doing work for other people, you want to know how to properly clear your altar. So now going into her 015 vlogs question, how do you clear your altars properly? Okay. So in essence, we want to there is a way of doing the physical clean. You know what I mean? The physical clean, I usually like to work with Chinese floor wash or Florida water. In essence, when it comes to actually cleaning. You know what I mean? If it's one of those things, if I have an altar and it's on something and it needs to shine, then that's when I will work with ammonia. You know what I mean? But it's like you want to be able to clean off your altar, make sure your altar is always looking good, and you want to make sure that everything's aligned properly. Like you don't want an altar that looks scattered. You know what I mean? Or looks like for say for you have an altar and everything looks scattered. Like you are going to I know it's Ebony. I know it's you. If you have an altar that has a lot of stuff or debris on it or whatever the case may be, like that's not proper like answer like that's not proper like altar etiquette by how the cleanliness. Make sure that obviously like you're doing physical cleanings, make sure that you're changing your offerings off it. Your offerings often, and especially if you have water on your altar, that should be changed as often as well. Because water transmutes energy and everything like that. So usually I find typically when it comes to anything that's water on my altar, if that gets changed every 5 to 7 days. Or if an energy shifts, even if the energy shifts, I change the water. You know what I mean? Now, usually what I do, like when it comes to if I was burning a candle for somebody else, because of course, a person like myself, I'm a practitioner and a psychic, I get clients. I usually I make sure I clean the surface. So, for example, sometimes things can happen when you do candles. Like if it breaks, make sure you're cleaning up all the wax debris because you have to understand too. Like even old wax from old spells, they're still active. You know what I mean? But I usually take a tea light and I say the person's name or the person's name or whatever date of birth, and I actually clear their energy off my altar. So like I visualize and whisk it off my altar. So then it's off my altar and the actual physical space is clean. Like my girl knows. Like I'm a person like I could be sitting there and I'll feel somebody's energy, like I'm like in like a certain energy, and I'm like, hold on, like that's not my shit. And I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't clear homegirl yesterday. Like, you know what I mean? So like it's being able in having an altar doesn't only come with the maintenance of making it look pretty and making sure that you have the print offerings and all this stuff. You need to be able to also have discernment. So I always say, do your make sure having your altars, depending on the circumstance of happening, is to do your check-ins. You know what I mean? Mama, I made it. I always miss every live. Happy to be here for a short bit. What are we talking about? Hi, Diana. Ooh. We are talking about altars and altar maintenance and all that good stuff. The best that I can actually show right now. Of course, if you guys have any questions, so you guys can hit me up in a private reading and stuff like that, and I can elaborate more. Because at the end of the day, I'm giving very basic, generic advice because everyone's altar and their setup is different. Like when it comes to the Orishas, like there is the standard go-to way of how things are done. But then when it comes to certain offerings, depending on what it is that you are trying to manifest, that's when shit changes. And it may not exactly be in code of the typical thing. Like, for example, it may be in essence of a shun, but not exactly in essence her 6 to 7 go to offerings that she takes. You know what I mean? So like that's something that I that you need to be mindful of. That's where you need to go to a practitioner, somebody that you trust, and actually get a proper diagnosis of your stuff. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I like again in situations I've taken people off my altars, and that can cause a shift between around them or what, like you know what I mean. Um, but proper maintenance is key at the end of the day. And you have to understand that what if you have something on your altar, depending if it's good, depending on if it's bad. Yes, definitely. I should be free sometime this evening, or if not earlier tomorrow. But depending if it's good, depending if it's bad, especially if it's negative, like if you have that on your altar, then I don't care if it's for a Billy. It's going to affect you because that's just literally writing on your head. You know what I mean? So that's what I see about that's what I have to share about altars and maintenance and things like that. It wasn't the best structured way of teaching it. I should have put some pointers here. I didn't do that. But any questions? Yes. Any questions? No. Yes. Okay, that would definitely be our next class for sure. For sure. We'll go into it. But I thought I would share some of the things that I know because listen, if there's anything that God has talented me with, is whatever I teach is what I've either gone through personally or anyone close to me that I've been guiding has gone through personally. And let me tell you something. In the beginning of my career, I bumped my head a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? But at the same time, those very mistakes actually shaped my style of how I do things. It shaped my understanding of why you don't do certain things and everything like that. It's like it's growing pains at the end of the day. But sometimes that was my journey. That doesn't mean it's gonna be everyone else's journey. But yeah, I would say it's a beautiful thing to have an altar, but like I said, it comes with responsibility. And sometimes people like they forget it's not even that they forget. I don't think that it's loudly promoted for people to know that. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to a lot of people at the end of the day that have altars that actually own like altars and function altars, like the actual art of how they use it is so second nature that they don't even know how to teach it because it's just like, okay, well, I just did what my Bible told me, or like I just learned because I did this. But I think, and I posted a video because Trap Witch put up a post. She put up a thread on her IG that really resonated with me, and like it's literally like the emblem of the essence of my career and just how I operate in ethers. And I don't think there's enough of us because you have to understand occult means something that is hidden. The esoteric is something that is hidden at the end of the day. And we are moving in a society where we're coming out of the shadows and people are openly coming to people like us or the craft itself. I don't want to say craft because like witchcraft. But like the craft itself for counsel. And I think that it's imperative people that are experienced to kind of help people like know better. You know what I mean? Like if you're not, I just feel like get the proper training. You know what I'm saying? Like I see people out there and it's just like, bro, you're your situation's like an easy fix, but like you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Like it's probably gonna require you to fucking put this much time in, but it can be done, you know? But I just think that if you're gonna be a manifester, do it right. Do it right. Show respect. Show respect to what you're doing. Like you know what I mean? And show respect to the realm of where it comes from. You know what I mean? And it's like this shit's not a costume. You know what I mean? This stuff is not. Our practices are not. Um, yeah, it's not like you know what I mean. I feel like if you're a person that is practicing and doing stuff, and you've been and like doing stuff, and you really want to take this stuff seriously and like actually learn stuff, like do the work. You know what I mean? Like actually do the work, and you'd be surprised. You'll see the change. How much wisdom will be bestowed on you, but the change that really happens in your life and what you really can have that you're really missing out on. All right. So that's it. Let's close this down. The altar section. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you guys with that. All right, so we are going into the last reading of the night. We are reading on Blueface and Neveah. Okay, so Blueface and Neveah has just gave birth to their to a son, which he is Jonathan Porter Jr. I think this is his first son that is a junior of his. Um, as you know, they have been making an uproar on Twitch, and obviously, when it comes to Twitch, is ending itself up on all social media platforms and everything like the sort. So Blueface, he's famously known for uh, his single Bust was Tatiana was it? Papa Tatiana. But it was all how he came into the game is that he came up with his first single. It was him rapping, and like he was rapping off beat. You know what I'm saying? And whatever. Anyone that was carding up the actual song itself or the lyrics in the song, he was able to go viral. And he, as a person that went viral, he actually was talented enough when it comes to how he made the moves, that is. He was talented enough to be able to bring himself to getting a deal and actually having one of the biggest like mainstream songs with Tatiana with Cardi B, and that's how he was able to get into the game and get notoriety or whatever the case may be. Fast forward, he started to have a reality show. I think it's a reality show with some girls. I forget the actual name of the show. If you guys can add that, what the name of the show is, and on that show is where he met Krishan Rock. Now, Krishan Rock and the Blueface duo was it like compatible to, or would like to say the modern day Whitney and Bobby. You know what I mean? But we're getting front seats to the fucking madness. So that relationship went on for some time. How they broke up or whatever the case may be, like they're to each his own. You know what I mean? But fast forward after his breakup and his release from jail and him opening up his store, he met a lovely little girl by the name of Neveah. Neveah, I'm not exactly sure where she's from. If you guys can actually help me with that, but I don't know where she's from. But I feel like she's a cute girl. She's actually I don't know if it's Santeria or Ifa, but she's an Ifa practitioner as well. So I see the ones the spirits I typically see her with because she wears the Alekis and has the altar. She works heavily with Alegua and Ashun. Okay, so I guess into them dating, it wasn't that long after them dating, she ended up getting pregnant with Blueface. Um, she's moved in with him. They started. Oh, she's okay. So okay, correction. So she's been around. She's girl. She's been around. They all were side pieces when he was with Jaden. She ain't no saint. Okay, so they were all okay. I forgot about Jaden. So Jaden is the original big mama. Like she is the bottom bitch in the pimple world. You know what I mean? She the first maid. She the first lady. Okay. Jaden, his first baby mom, she was with him before fame and everything. But she was a side piece when she was with Jaden. So she's been around for some time. And they've been together yeah, exactly. He was in Jada when he was in 16. Back when Blueface was a barb. Okay? That's how long they've been with each other. So fast forward, he's with the name of Neveah. Neveah has actually been put in the forefront. Like at the end of the day, even though it's crash test dummies and a toxic situation, I'm not gonna lie, they do make a funny duo. You know what I mean? Of course, right now the latest controversy is that Krishan came back. She wants to fight for her relationship or was trying to. As we know that, Blueface is just doing it for views at the end of the day. You know what I mean? He's making a lot of money off of this shit. So you gotta have a storyline, you know what I mean, in order to make some money. So it's been fucking crazy. And this craziness that has been happening the whole time, Neveah has been pregnant, heavily pregnant at that. You know what I mean? He doesn't want Krishan. It's all clout. It's money. Like I'm come on. Like you need to tell me the last week or so with that little stint they had and they make a bunch of money? Of course, because they have their little live streaming. They're together. They're doing stuff. Whatever the case may be, there's controversy. Some drama goes down, and then they go back to their own channels, and then they have their commentary. Then that's when they get the views. That's when they get the what's the thing called? They get the gifts and stuff like they get and all that types of stuff, child. But anyways, so the latest that happened is that Krishan actually ended up showing up to Neveah's um, baby shower, which I honestly feel like that was staged. I I know that it was definitely Blueface or one of them leaked. Oh, subs, and it turns into money. Oh, okay, okay, because I don't know how Twitch works. Or it's Twitch. Sorry. What have I been saying? I don't know how that works. But anyways, I'm old, girl. Just recently, here, this is a joke. Just recently, as you guys know, that I also own a PR business. So just recently I sponsored an event and it was called Algorithm, right? And I'm a you auntie. I'm old auntie. And it's called Algorithm, right? So my cousin's husband, he works heavily like within the industry and stuff like that. And he will collabs a lot with Kai Cenat's sister. So that event itself, I sponsored it, and I was one of the sponsors that were on the event. So I went to the event. You know what I mean? Because I was like, okay, we're sponsored. Like, let's go. Like, look, I gotta go and represent, right? And when I got in there, girl, listen, it was such a fucking culture shock. Like I have never been in a surrounding where I felt so out of place. Because everybody was at least 20 or more years younger than me, outside of my cousin's husband. You know what I mean? And because my cousin's husband and his sister that actually run the event, they have like a 15-year difference. So she's like closer in age with them. You know what I mean? And we're closer in age with each other. So these kids, like there was nobody, okay? They're like all with their big old cameras and their big old lights, and they're all streaming, and like everything they're doing is so performative and just going crazy. Actually, I end up on one of the streams. I actually didn't get the guy's name, but he was trying to pick me up, and he's this African guy with his aesthetic is like he wears a shower cap and a bathrobe. But he's this young African guy, and he's always doing like pranks and crazy shit. And he was trying to pick me up, like trying to holler at me. And don't you date old younger kids? I'm like, bro, like you're fucking like holy, he's like 19 or whatever. It was a whole thing. It was funny. I did it for the content, you know what I mean? So it was a funny experience. But yeah, that streamer culture is crazy. Now, granted, as much as and why I go into saying this, as much as it almost feels like, depending on who's looking at it, that like these damn kids are selling their souls for fucking content. There's a lot of money behind it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of money that can be made and a lot of opportunities that can come out of it as well. Right? So moving into this whole thing with Neveah and Blueface. You know what I mean? As much as because at the same time, depending on who you talk to, like people don't like this shit because it all depends on how they feel like this kind of culture, going back to generation and stuff, is influencing the younger folk and coming up in the game and the influence it's having over them. You know what I mean? So I should have been fucking charging my phone this whole time. I'm such a fucking idiot. Just thought about that. But anyways, yeah. So let's get into this. What I wanted to tap into is that we want to go into. I guess we're gonna play the game of what's real, what's fake, what's the kind. You know what I mean? And what we see around the relationship coming up for Blueface and Neveah. Okay. Nevaeh has her altar in her closet and she definitely doesn't know what she's doing. She might burn that house down. Definitely, definitely. I feel like Nevaeh is like she got okay, this is what happens a lot, and I've had this. I feel like Nevaeh has power. It's not like she doesn't have a power, but she's not tapped into it. You know what I mean? And something with power comes with wisdom and it comes with maturity. You know what I'm saying? And I think that she's not at the space of, and I feel like this is just her age, not even just her age, but like even just like how well versed she's in the religion, is how she's operating in that. But it was fucking hilarious. I will never forget the actual scene or the video where I guess Krishan and Blueface fought or they broke up. And after he turned to her, he's like, yo, like, I guess the voodoo that you've been doing is working. And like, they had a good laugh about it. You know what I mean? But another thing too that he was wondering is if she was voodooing him because no matter what, she kept on like she whenever she gives him food to eat, she always makes him soup, right? Now you know, like when it comes to witchcraft or whatever the case may be, like if there's any kind of witchcraft that you want to try to do on a man or anybody of the sort, the oldest trick in the book is concealing it in some soup. You know what I mean? So he was making jokes and stuff like that, wondering to himself, like, yo, maybe she's putting fucking voodoo. The goddamn soup, yo, that fucking scene was hilarious. That scene, she was using the soup word, making the soup to tie him. You know what I mean? So let's get into the relationship and what's to come for them. You know what? Blueface actually happy about this baby, you know. He actually really is happy about this baby. I think that's something that he actually was surprised about, like how connected that he was gonna feel when the baby was born. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's like a connection, like it's like a cling, and it's like oh, like it's like that baby's touched his spirit in some way. You know what I mean? Um, I get the sense that I see the conversation of coming up of there being a paternity test. Yeah, like yeah, he got because there's some dads that just don't got that moment, but it felt like he had that moment, you know. But I get coming up that I feel like there's gonna be conversations of like paternity tests and stuff like that. But I actually feel I feel like it might be his baby. Like yeah, I get the sense that I feel like it's a baby. You know what I mean? But I get that. But I get the sense that what's going to end up happening is that you're going to start to see the storyline shift, likely, where it's like Blueface is more attached to the baby and not really attached to the relationship that he has with Neveah. Oh, we're talking about Blueface and Neveah, right? I do get the sense like that's gonna be a thing because I see oh, Neveah's gonna want to try to fight Krishan. I see that. And I feel like that's like not too far away. Like that's feeling like, okay, it's giving the energy of like babies popped out now. So like, bitch, whoever's been running their mouth when I was pregnant and was talking this shit and they were doing all of that because I couldn't fight. Guess what? I'm ready to fight right now. Like that's the energy that I'm also getting. Don't be surprised if Neveah gets into boxing too. Like I don't know why I see something. I see like an actual fight or something. But I get the sense like for every like drama that actually takes place, like there's dollar signs and monetization. Like you know, you go to YouTube, you see the monetization button. Like for everything, like they are doing like it could be like it's monetization. Like they ask. Like I mean, like I'm telling you, like they could be having a real argument. Like fuck, I don't like this, and like Blue's like, "What is camera out?" Like, yo, like we're gonna clip this, and we're gonna get views off of this. Like, it's gonna get so intense and crazy. But I feel like when it comes to Neveah, like Neveah's given me like, okay, you know what it reminds me of? Okay, you know Hunger Games? I think it's the second Hunger Games. So you remember in the second Hunger Games there was one of the characters that pretty much how she ended up winning in the Hunger Games is that she played weak the whole time and unthreatening and unassuming, and you know what I mean. Oh, she couldn't fight, like she was frail, but when she got to the end, like she was like a very skilled fighter and like all these things. Like she hid her actual power until it got to the end. Like that's what I feel like Nevaeh is doing. Like she is actually playing chess. Like, and I think that Blue is not seeing this at all because Blue, Blue on a real, I don't think Blue actually looks as females like they are intelligent. Like he feels like there's so much, like he's so much smarter than them. Like he's like they're easy to manipulate. You know what I mean? But I feel like she's playing chess, not checkers. Like she has like there's a male behind her. I don't know if it's her babalao. It could be her babalao. But I feel like there's a male behind her and she's just kind of like, all right. But it's like I'm not gonna lie, I do get the sense that she actually really if she can have what she wants with Blue, she'll have it. But she definitely got a plan if it don't work out. And it's almost like, bitch motherfucker, I'd be damned that like I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna eat after this. If I ain't fucking with you, I'm eating. You know what I mean? Taco, I could tell he was happy. He was very present, and still, I still think he was a bit too in Nevaeh's face to the camera. Yeah, like that's what it's gonna always be. Who would Blueface ultimately choose between them? He's not gonna be with. He don't want Krishan. Krishan is footage. Krishan is content. Even Krishan knows that too. Krishan, like Krishan has. You ever see somebody that they always have that itch? Like, even though they can live their life, not even necessarily to not want you, but they could survive not being with you. But at any given Sunday, if they feel like they want to, if they feel like they have an aim to kind of trump the person you're with, just to be like, I can still do that, they're gonna do it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when it comes to Krishan, I feel like Krishan is very aware that she does a lot better when she's not with Blue. I think she's very aware that that's the thing. So I don't get the sense that she's gonna that is gonna ever be a thing that they ever get back together. I feel like she's gonna always be like the villain that always shows up in every video. The villain that, like like a Mr. Big and Sex in the City, like the villain that kind of shows up every so often, every season, and like kind of peeks in and wrecks shit and turns everything fucking over. Like, yeah, it's giving character arc. It's giving that. It's giving sitcom. So she'll guest star in certain episodes. You know what I mean? But other than that, I feel like Krishan's gonna start dating somebody else publicly soon. You're gonna actually see Blueface actually respond to that too. But I feel like he's doing it for clout. It's like he sees like the attention they're getting and it's like, yeah, let me hop on that so like I get a little one twos off of that. I can ask that Blueface needs to choose himself and leave him alone. He does. But he's not gonna do that. Cause like Blueface knows. Like Blueface knows if he wants to or as an actual man, okay, I can settle down with this girl. Or you know what? This person is actually the best bet for me. But he makes more money in chaos. He makes more money in his life being a mess. Like, look, like, when's the last I haven't heard of Blueface track in so long? Like, when have you seen Blueface say he's going on tour? Like, he makes more money in chaos. And that's what he's sitting with it. So what questions do you guys have? Any questions? Oh my god. Any questions? Okay. So let's see what's coming up for them. Okay, so I obviously see some specials and stuff that is surrounded by the baby. I think that they're gonna also probably show some footage of her like blessing the baby, like the Ifa way or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know why I feel like there's gonna be some like imagery or like controversy that's surrounded around that as well. I don't know why I feel like around the corner too. There's gonna be some legal trouble. Well, there was legal trouble the other day when he kicked her, but I feel like one of those instances is gonna end up happening again. But I almost feel like it's physical. Because I don't know, I see something coming up going on with her family. Like Blue does not have any manners when it comes to family. What did Jaden say happened to him? Is it what the gay stuff? Yeah, he cares about him in his pocket. Yeah, he's messed up. Like I see like something coming up with that. I see him having a beef with a rapper coming up soon too. Feels like two rappers. I see a street fight, some street like running or something happening. Someone's parent is gonna get sick. I don't know if it's Blueface's mom or the Neveah's mom, but I don't know. I see somebody's parent getting sick. I see something about that as well. I don't know. 'Cause I see something coming up with his mom, and it's like depending on the mom's circumstances and how he deals with her, like he gets some backlash from that. You know what I mean? Is it DDG? Maybe, but I feel like it's two different rappers. It's two different rappers. 'Cause I feel like it's like it starts with one, and like say like one makes a comment, like they're beefing, and then somebody makes a comment or like a sneak this or whatever the case may be, and it's like okay, like you want to get involved, okay, now it's up. Like you know what I mean? Like that's what I get. Like that's what I get. But I've seen like a lot of that coming up. He might do an interview too. Like don't be surprised if he gets like a cover of a magazine or some shit. People better not pick up the story, eh? Because like, what the fuck? God, if I see like a paper like people take the story, I'm like, what does this world come to? But I don't know. I see like there's a chance of them actually doing like a magazine or something like that. But it feels like to me like towards the ending of the year, like I always see it's like fall time. So I don't know if it's this year or next year. I think Blue's gonna really start getting serious back about music. I don't know. I feel like he's working with somebody else. Is that Whack something something? I don't know. One of them managers. He's. I feel like he's gonna end up switching a manager or getting managed by somebody else, and then like that's through that he's gonna get back into music. Any questions? What's next for Krishan? Ooh, good question. She gonna fight somebody again. But it's funny because I feel like she's gonna fight with somebody. This feels like a street fight though. She gonna fight with somebody, and the person might get a little bit of the best of her. Like this may be the first time you will see her somewhat lose. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's gonna have another child with Neveah. Yeah, she will have all his babies. Like she don't care. But I feel like she won't get in a fight with somebody else. But I feel like she also has another fight coming up too. But like I said, I feel like like that legal stuff is like it's looming over her like a ghost. You know, like those ghosts, but like not like those regular ghosts. Like it literally looks like those Halloween ghosts, like woo, like it's looming over her. Yeah, when he said that, yeah, she's open minded, but I get the sense that I feel like she's gonna try to prevent it because I feel like she wants to like create her safe space. Will they fight each other? Yeah, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like I feel like Nevaeh is gonna probably end up on like a warpath. You know what I'm saying? Like I see Nevaeh literally going through like, okay, I'm not pregnant anymore. Like, what's up? Like, what's tea? Like, what's good? You know what I mean? Yeah, good. Justice for Ronnie and Junior. Yeah, I feel like she's going through like a car. She gonna have a little karmic stage going coming up. Feels like it's like between October to like yeah, it's gonna start in like October. Like funny Libra season. You know what I mean? I missed the circus. There was a fire at my apartment complex and I totally missed everything. I'm so upset. You can just watch the playback. You can watch the playback. Girl, I don't know what it is. These apartment complexes, child. That's the annoying part about apartment complexes. Like one person has something going on, everybody got something going on. Will Jada come back into the mix or is she finally done? I feel like she'll come and make some appearances, but I feel like it's not gonna be not it's not without coercing though. Like that's the energy I get. It's not without coercing. It's like and the only way she's doing it is because of what she's getting out of it. But yeah, probably NBA young boy. I don't know. He did take some shots at them the other day. So and the NBA young boy is sensitive. Once you call that nigga name, like he ain't fucking with that. He won't answer you. You know what I mean? But I think NBA YoungBoy right now is in South Korea or something like that. No, not God. But yeah, I think it's in South Korea or something like that. But yeah, like that's what I see so far. Any more questions? Because this is the last reading of the live. We're almost 2 hours in. That's the reason why there's been a delay on the lives. Because I gotta not only do I have to get on, but I gotta make sure I have at least 2 hours that I can spare. Okay? Any questions? No? All right, so we're gonna close out the live. All right, guys, it was a very fun, informative live. So I want to thank everybody here for watching. And if you haven't already, be sure to hype the video as well. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to get a private reading, you can also hit me up. All my information is in the description box. But we do this every 2 weeks. We can do a mid-month recap and we do an end-of-month recap. So stay tuned for the latest topics of what's been going on in the ethers, in the entertainment industry, or whatever the case may be. All right. So I do want to thank you so much for your time and rocking with me. May God bless you and angels protect you. Good day, good night, good evening, depending on where you're watching this from.